Today I want to do a brief rundown of Apple's Vision Pro simulator. So let's dive right in and start from the top. You have your home button, which is actually your app's show or hide button, basically the launch pad you would find on a Mac or MacBook. Next we have our screenshot and screen capture button to take screenshots of your experience. Then we have our capture input for the mouse pointer and the keyboard while using the app on the simulator. These bypass the navigation controls, directing the input to the simulator device, and you can turn this off and on by pressing the escape key. You'll see the mouse pointer changes there when you click around in here. Just press escape and it goes back to normal. Last, we have our simulated scenes button, and this allows you to change your background or your simulated place or your room. Next, let's review the buttons on the lower right hand side of the simulator. We have our interactions button, we have our drag to tilt camera button, our drag to pan the camera button, our drag to orbit, and our drag to dolly. So these all do different things. You can click through and test them all out. The one to the left is the one you'll use the most. This is how you will interact with the apps when your apps are appearing. The basic movements are hold control, and if you left click and drag up the trackpad that looks up, you drag down, you drag it left, you drag it right, all while holding the control button. This is how you turn your head in the simulator. If you let go, hold control and slide the trackpad up, slide the trackpad down. That's how you move forwards and backwards in a simulator, by holding control, and to turn your head, you just left click and drag to look around. When you pick the different options here, they do let you move. So when you pick that one, you can just drag up, down, left, right. You can walk around. Again, when you click the trackpad and drag it, will let you turn your head. And when you come back here, you're set. The last button is the reset button. When you click this, I'll walk down a little bit to the counter. I hit reset. That takes you right back to point zero, back to where you started. Next, let's talk about the small floating down arrow on the top middle of the screen. The floating arrow is not always present when using the simulator. You have to move your mouse to the top center of the screen. This menu is a great tool for accessing quick settings. I'll kind of zoom in here a little bit. All right, so you can see you have your mouse. You can use this to launch the launch pad in your home app, which is here. You have your environment change. You have your controls, which are control center, and you have your notifications window. And if we click through each option, you can see, so we click on that one, everything pops up for you there. When I click away, pops on top. The environments, there are none right now. Click it again. We have our control panel with all of our settings. I'll zoom in a little bit closer here. You can see we have our settings here. And this, I believe, is going to be where guest mode is. So if you're logged in, I would imagine this is where you can let someone try your headset. Not confirmed yet, but we'll see how that turns out. Here's your search. So you can find apps on your phone just like you would any other iPhone or what have you, and it stays in place as you're doing your different things. And lastly, your notifications. So when you're in the app screen here, you can see there's your general apps. There are folders, as you normally would see on iDevice. Close that out. Your contacts for FaceTime calls. And here's where you would change your environment. So there's a shortcut in the action menu there, but here's where you can select them. But in this simulator, you cannot change the environments at this time. All right, so now we've covered all the buttons on the simulator. Let's discuss using the apps in the experience. I installed a couple test apps I made that I'll run through. Let's start by clicking the home button on the top. Over here, I'll click on the first app. Let's click on the little drop down here, go to apps. I'll click on the second app. Again, I can click on the drop down arrow, go to apps, click on the third app, and then we'll open the last one by clicking home and go into the fourth app. So that's a good thing to see there. So that was me testing an iOS app on the Vision Pro. It looks like it installed it, but it would not run. So for what I've experienced so far, when you're making a new Xcode app, the iOS and the multi-platform do not load on here. and we try to open them, they'll try to attempt to open, but you get an error. Only things for iPad or for Vision OS will open. So we'll move right along. What you can do is you can take the bottom bar here, and when you click and drag, you can move these wherever you would like. So I'm going to drag these around. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to change the environment. Perfect. So that's there, and I'm going to put one above me right there. And you can see they're all in position. So now you can see I have everything stacked where I like them. When I walk with the up and down, left, right arrows on the keyboard, I can walk past the experience. I can hold control and drag and see them there. I can walk back and around. Hold control and drag my head, turn my head around. And again, they're all there where I left them. I'm going to hit this reset the center. Now I'm back. So when you're working through this experience, anything you design and open will load dead centers. And this is how you can move them out the way and figure things out. So this one here, I'm going to hold down on the X and you get different options. So I can say hide the other apps. I can hold down and I can say close it, and that'll close the app. And now everything's here. When I recenter and hit home, that moves it back for me. As you see, it was on the side. I can put it back right in front of me. I'm going to reopen everything again. And again, the drop down arrow is still here, but I found it is an extra click. It's faster just to click the home, in the simulator, just click the home button. And I won't worry about that test iOS app. So I'm going to move this one up, move this to the side, and move this to the other side. And if you don't have any apps on your iOS device, it's not a big deal. When you click in here, there are plenty of built-in apps. Just open 3 of these and move them around as you see fit, and you'll see how they all position. So as you can see, when you start using this simulator, you are in essentially what we would call an augmented reality mode, where you can see the real world while you're wearing the headset. To put things in the VR mode and be more immersive, when you create your new project, select Vision OS as your app, and then in the options, you're going to see immersion space, and you're going to set that to full. You don't want to pick mixed or progressive, pick full. And when you do that, this will provide a button on each app, which comes standard with the apps when you make them. And when you click it, the app will fire up into that immersive mode. So I'm going to show you here. So if I click this one, well, that's my snow app. So I'm going to stop that. And this one here. So you'll see you get your warning message. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. And really, this is, the legal jargon warning you, hey, watch out for your surroundings and everything else for those that are wearing the headset. And I'll click OK, and things go dark. So now when I back up or just hit reset to home, I am in an immersive world here. Similar to it is a virtual reality experience, but here the headset is in that immersive mode. I'll hit reset again. When I click it again, it comes back to reality. And if I click this app here, I'm going to change the environment to be darker. So we'll do the nighttime museum. And with this experience here, I was really going for snow. So you can see there's snow moving around, and I place it in a certain position. So I'm going to walk forward, and now I'm out of it. When I turn around, I can see it still over there, and I can walk back. I can reset the center, and now I can turn that off, and everything is back where it was. So far, I can only get one app going at the same time. I'm not able to start multiple apps. When I click the home button, it does take you out of that experience back into the world, and you click it again. Now you have your app screen here. If I go back to dark, acknowledge, the small arrow, it's right there. So I can see my notifications and things. Click it again. I still get control center and everything else. Click it again. The environment. So when you click on the apps, it takes you out. So what you can also do is you can take these and turn your head and just drag these over here. And again, as you walk around, everything is where you left it. The last thing I'll show you how to do is how to resize, correct? So when I slide this over, this window is too long. I want to move to either the bottom or left edge, and you just drag it. Click it and drag it however you want it to be. Go ahead and put it right back where I had it. Take this one here, this over my head so I can look up. Click that, and that's how you interact with the Vision Pro simulator.